Good morning. I'm just plunging in and starting my video series without knowing where it's going, but you have to start somewhere. So I don't like watching long videos. In fact, I don't watch many videos myself because I find the energy of many of them to be grating in the same way that TV broadcasts are grating to me. So I like the gentleness of peace and I endeavor to create it in my own life. There's enough energy of distraction and confusion and uh, many negative feelings surrounding us and coming up through us as the planet is releasing the dark energies of the past, and I believe literally moving through us as a transformative device. I believe we are those of us of the light, those of us who believe in God and who believe in the beauty of our souls and the beauty of our life as human beings, and who focus on the positive and don't get weighed down by thoughts of the negative, because that's a trap. That's a trap. You know, when you focus on what's wrong, you make it bigger because what you focus on gets bigger. Now, this doesn't mean you ignore problems, because when there's a clogged toilet, it needs dealing with, and we all have various clogs in our life. But some people gravitate toward drama, and we all have that tendency. It's tantalizing, it's entertaining, it's been used to draw us in by the MSM and pop culture in general, is, you know, what are the stars doing, or what's going on in this plot. And while that's fine, it's a normal part of human nature. We live in a world of dark and light. You don't ignore the dark, you understand it. It is a part of our own natures, but you put it in perspective and you tame it, and that's how you don't become a slave to the dark, is by understanding that it's something that you utilize in your consciousness. You know, it is through the dark that we come to understand the light, and this is something that many people don't understand. You don't squelch the dark, you can't eliminate it. What you do is you grow your light, and as you grow your light, the darkness fades. But in the interim, while we're in this 3D world, we utilize the contrast of duality, of good and bad, and evil and light, to comprehend who we are, how we want to function in this world, and who we choose to be on a daily basis. And of course, on a daily basis, if you're doing it right, you're evolving. You're making new choices based on your experience, and experience is the only way we learn. You don't learn from reading a book. You learn from putting into practice what you know, and when you make what turns out to be a terrible mistake, you learn not to do it again. And some people, of course, don't learn that. They make the same or very similar mistakes over and over again. And this is the definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting a different result. But so be it. That is how we learn in this world. And some people do learn and some people don't, right? New York City. Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. We all have the choice of whether or not we're going to be introspective and think about what's going on and how we interacted and with who and why we did what we did. And if we want to continue doing so, it's very easy to blame the other people, to blame circumstances, to blame things around us for how we feel. But if you're a truly empowered human being, you come to understand that you are in the driver's seat. You are the one that decides what you are thinking, and what you are thinking absolutely creates what you're feeling. If you think, based on evidence or not, it could be based on rumor and not fact, but if you believe that someone is evil and bad and dangerous, you might hate them, you might fear them. If you're more balanced in your perspective and you are willing to change your mind about someone, or later find out, as I did, I was not initially a Trump supporter, but over time I examined the evidence about the man with new eyes. I also got new information about the man because I was unplugged from the MSM, and I was also starting to be connected to the Patriot community. I was a former liberal, so I bought all the hype about him, and I just thought he was a big egomaniacal guy who insisted on putting his name on everything, which annoyed me. I just thought it was all ego. Now, knowing who and what he is, I'm awfully glad his imprint, his name, his vibration is all over the planet. So again, my point there is just saying, keep an open mind, the willingness, the ability to change your mind, which then of course changes your heart. If you perceive that someone is not as bad as you thought, or perhaps they're worse than you thought, and you need to adjust to that too, and not embrace them with open arms, which is why Trump keeps repeating that story about the snake. It's, people who are love and light and just think love is the answer to everything. It's not. It's not the answer when you're dealing with Nazis, when you're dealing with violent thugs. Love is not the answer. Law and order and restoring justice and the rule of law to society is what you do. And that's when bombers are necessary, and sanctions, and being tough, right? Power through strength, which is what Reagan said, and it's what Trump did. So apparently I have a flow of thoughts, right? Good, bad, but my point is always, we are in the driver's seat, and we have the ability, if we calm ourselves down, and you do that through meditation, through prayer, taking a bath, taking a walk, taking a nap, anything to break up your normal thought patterns. I live in a very peaceful environment. My home, even though I'm on a very noisy cross street in a very noisy city, is designed to support my peace. So that's through the beauty of the art that I keep around me. I have pets. I have one room that has a double window, and that makes it more quiet, which is very nice. But it's up to us in the midst of chaos to create the calm. And that's what we have to do, particularly in these really chaotic times where the dark is turning into light by virtue of our behavior. And this is behavior. What you think and what you feel generates your physical behaviors, which are feelings, and of course your actions. And your actions speak loudest. And if you are a person of integrity, your words match your actions. And this is something to keep in mind. Personal integrity, telling the truth, being a person of your word is very important to me, and far too many people write off white lies or saying things they don't mean, like, hey, let's get together, let's have lunch, when they don't mean it. And the way you know they don't mean it is because they never, ever follow up. This is lying. It may seem really small, and we know many people who have done it, and maybe we've done it ourselves, but it's not how I run my life. And I don't want people in my life that are like that. I want people who speak the truth, who speak from the heart, and don't say sugary, flowery things to seem nice, because when you don't follow up on them, you're not nice. You're actually a liar, no matter how small and subtle that seems. I believe that Trump is a man of his word, and good men and women in our government and around the world are people who honor what comes out of their mouth and ensure that it is factual to the best of their ability. And if you make a mistake, you admit it, you make an adjustment, right? But I see our highest challenge in this noisy, chaotic world is to figure out how for you, and it's different for each and every one of us, you create your own peace. So for me, it's not watching a lot of videos. There are certain people whose voices I gravitate to. And some of the people who produce videos don't even show their faces, and I appreciate that too. It shouldn't be about, exclusively the visuals, right? And I actually was inspired to start doing this because I was watching a makeup video with a woman, and I won't even get into who she is, but there she was, barefaced with nothing, and of course we all look very different, most of us, with makeup and without. And I was like, well, there she is without any makeup on, right in front of the video, and for whatever my issues of self-consciousness and how do I present myself to the world via photographs and video, and I've been very reticent. I'm actually very shy. I have had this channel for years and haven't posted any videos until yesterday. And what I posted several years ago was simply the audio for a blog I wrote about my support of the Green Party and Jill Stein at the time in 2016. Um, but just seeing this woman who was out there with her face, and she's very successful in making a lot of money doing what she's doing, showing the transformation with a million different brushers and a million different concealers and this and that. And I love makeup. I've always loved makeup, and I wear a lot of it sometimes. But I'm not into the, I'm into the 5-minute makeup, and that's what I do. So, but I just thought, there she is out there. And since I know I have something to say, I know I have a message that is spiritual, political, I'm opinionated. I'm a philosopher, I'm an author. I write about what I'm talking about now. My 4 books reflect, even though I was a liberal at the time, and when you read my books, you'll see the bent, but you'll also see my skepticism regarding official stories of the government, and certainly my distrust of big government and the corporations and the corporatocracy we've been living in for decades. Long story short, right, you just got to put your foot in the pool, and that's what I did yesterday, and that's what I'm doing today. I'm just keeping one foot in front of the other in terms of putting myself out there and expressing myself. And, some people will gravitate toward my energy, my words, my voice, my look, and some people won't, and that's life, and that's fine. There really is no good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Shakespeare said it, a million other philosophers have said the same. What we perceive as good at the most essential level is really basically what we want, what we like, and what we deem as bad or evil or sinful for some people. I don't talk about sin. That's not my perception. And truly, the word sin literally just means missing the mark. You're missing the mark, but it's not for us to judge how other people are missing the mark, right? That's where a lot of Christians get caught up in judging, and I find that very distasteful. That being said, I do have an opinion about Satanists and people who hurt animals and children and other human beings. Yeah, I have an opinion about them, but I don't hate those people. I just want to know who they are and what they're up to, and I most certainly don't want them in my government. I don't want them in Hollywood, and it seems they really are in Hollywood, so I'm not so interested in Hollywood anymore, and I used to be. I don't want these people running our planet, and it seems they have been. Nazis and Satanists seem to go hand in hand, and what they represent is the death force. They abhor life. They don't know love. They don't know light. And in their essence, they are it. They've forgotten it. It's been covered over by, ugly thinking, however they got that way. As a soul, we're all responsible for the choices we make, but you can always turn yourself around. I believe there's redemption. But until these people are redeemed, if they ever are, they need to be taken out of society, and they certainly need to be taken out of our government and our movie screens and this and that. So that's what we're seeing now with the Great Awakening, is this great reveal of what has seemed, right, what's beneath the makeup. All that glitters is not gold. The people that we've thought were honorable and good people and charitable, and the reason we thought those things is because they had charities and they had PR teams making them look good, telling us what they wanted us to hear and what we wanted to think about them. It's like, oh, aren't they wonderful? And they're so talented and beautiful in their family and their homes. And in the meanwhile, we're learning that many of our most famous people have been doing horrible things behind the scenes, whether it was on Little St. James. That's just one island of many islands. And many super rich people have had their own private islands. And what are they good for? Anything you don't want anyone else doing. It's not just privacy. It's been, these homes, these islands have been used for things that the public could never find out about. But we are in a time of disclosure now. We are in the time of revelation. The apocalypse in Greek literally means to reveal. This is the time of revelation. So I am putting myself out there on video now and letting myself be seen and heard because I want to. And I will continue this conversation.